Hello friends, in this video I will share with you the timeline for converting my L1 visa to green card. I will share with you all the key milestones that came in between and what were they. Now separately I will also be making video on explaining you the benefits of L1 visa. I believe this is one of the best work visas that you can get when you are coming for work to USA. I will also talk about the key forms that were submitted, the documentation required for the green card, for which I will also make a separate video. I will also make a separate video with regards to travel limitations that exist when you have applied for green card and the workaround. And lastly, I will make a separate video where I will talk about the work authorization and the limitations to transfer your job within the organization in which you are working, which sponsored your L1 visa, or moving your job outside that organization. So what are the limitations and how do you work around them? Now, the topic of this video is sharing with you the timeline of converting my L1 visa to green card. Now, before moving into the timeline itself, let me quickly talk about what L1 visa is. L1 visa is a company-sponsored work visa. It's an intra-company transfer. In easy words, if you're working for a company outside of US and they have an office in US and they transfer you within the same company, like they move you from that other country to USA in that company, then you get a chance to come to USA on L1 visa. My example, I work for a company which has an office in USA and I was based out of Canada where I am a national of, and they wanted to move me to USA, and hence they got me L1 visa for me to transfer within the same company but across the different countries, which is from Canada to US. Now, one limitation is that you should have been working for that particular company for a year or more in past 3 years. If that is the case, then you can simply apply for L1 visa and get a transfer between the two countries. Now, L1 visa, and this is the best thing about it, is a dual intent visa, which is it is a visa with just given with an intention that you can apply for green card later. So once you apply for green card using an L1, it is a relatively easy process. But anyways, I won't talk much about what L1 visa is. Let's get rolling into the timeline. Now, before going in the timeline, I have to ask for you. One, press the like button as this keeps me motivated. Second, press the subscribe button along with the bell icon so you get notified as soon as I put a new content on this channel. Now, on this channel, I post content pertaining to financial and career success for early and mid-career professions. Other than that, if you want to support me in making similar content like this, you can also support me on my Patreon page. I will leave the link to my Patreon page in the description of this video. Now let's get rolling back into the video. So I moved to US on 1st of July 2022 and I got approval from my organization to apply for green card on 15th of July, and they assigned me a lawyer. Now essentially there are two key elements of applying for a green card. One is a form called I-140, which is allowing you to work in United States on permanent basis, and second is form I-485, which is a change of status, which is essentially your approval of green card. So changing your status from an L1 visa into green card. You need both of them, which is have permissibility to work in US, which is I-140, and then I-485, which is allowing you to convert your status from L1 to green card. So the initiation of I-140 started on 22nd of July, and then it took a month for the lawyer to put all those documents together to apply for the one I-140, and then I was able to move into the I-485 stage, which started on 22nd of August. So the lawyer started preparing for I-485 on 22nd of August. Now there is an option where you only apply for I-140 first. It takes like 2-3 months for you to know whether it's approved or not, and only then you move into applying I-485. It's just that it will take the process longer because first you need to wait for an approval on I-140, which is whether you're eligible to work in US outside of your L1 visa or not, and second, moving or changing your status to green card, which is I-485. Typically, if the lawyer feels that there is a chance that I-485 may get rejected, which is you may not get a green card altogether, they first apply for I-140 and see if it gets approved or not. It is just a cheaper way of doing it, because if I-140 gets rejected, then there is no point in applying for I-485 and spend more money, because that will not get approved at all. So if the company wants to save some money, they will start with applying for I-140 first, and once it's approved, only then will apply for I-485. Now in my case, the lawyer agreed that the case is pretty simple. I have all the documentation and I have all the reason to apply for green card and should be an easy case for me, and hence they decided that they can just apply I-140 and I-485 together, so it will kind of save me those 3 months, because otherwise they will first apply for I-140, which will take 3 months, and then the process for green card will start after consuming those 3 months. So in my case, since both of the documentations were done together, I was able to save those 3 months. So this is one recommendation. You can always check with your lawyer and ask them, if the case is solid, how about just submit the 2 documents together as against trying to submit one after the other. Now myself and the lawyer unanimously agreed that they will not submit my medical documents. Now with I-485, you also need to submit some medical documentation, which is you need to get some medical tests done, some vaccination done. I will talk about all of this in a separate video. However, the reason for not submitting the medical was that my lawyer wanted to keep the application incomplete. Because if you submit the medical along with I-140, I-485, then you have a complete package, which is the application is complete, and whoever is the immigration officer can reject or approve that particular application without even asking further documentation from me. Now, the reason I didn't want to give the complete application is because I'm on L1 in case I am traveling outside with my family outside of US. And by the way, just to also explain to you, I have L1 and my family is on L2 visa. My kids are on L2 and my wife is on L2. My wife is allowed to work in US on L2 visa, and my kids are studying here in US and they have L2 visa. Now let's imagine if all of us are traveling outside US, and given my application is complete, they approve, the immigration officer approves my green card only, and there is a delay in my kids and my wife's green card. Now, as soon as my green card is approved, my status changes from being L1 to being a green card holder. As soon as I don't hold an L1 anymore with me, my kids and my family, L2 is cancelled automatically because their L2 is dependent on my L1. If I don't hold an L1, they don't hold an L2 anymore. So if I don't hold an L1, my L1 is cancelled because I got a green card. Suddenly their L2 gets cancelled as well. Now for me, I may still be able to travel back into US because now I'm a green card holder, although I don't possess my green card, but I may find some work around where someone sends me my green card, or I can find some way of entering US, because at least I can tell the immigration officer that I am a green card holder. It's just that I'm not holding my green card with me at the moment. Or I can ask someone to send it to me through mail, which is not the right thing to do, but still possible. What I'm saying is, it is still possible by some means for me to enter into US. However, for my kids and family and my wife, it is not possible at all because their L2 status has been rejected. So they cannot move into US anymore. And this is the reason the lawyer decided not to submit my medical, because once the immigration officer approves my application, they will not be able to sign and approve the complete application. They'll say the application is complete except I need a medical, which means they approve everything else, but they want me to submit medical. Now, this is an indication to me that is when the immigration officer asks for my medical, that means my application is close to getting approved. And hence, during that time, as soon as they ask for my medical, I will not travel with my family, or I will not allow my family to travel at all, or for that matter, I will not travel at all. So I will wait during those weeks and months from the ask of my medical to having the green card in my hand. So not submitting the medical documents allowed me the flexibility to travel with my family outside and back to US without the worry that one of us will have their green card approved and the others may get delayed in approval of their green card, and hence they will have challenge coming back into US, which is something that I didn't want to risk because my wife was working here and my kids are studying here. So I could not afford my wife not having a job anymore and my kids not going to school anymore. So if you want to hold on to the decision of the immigration officer on the green card, just take out or don't submit your medical documents. In that way, while your application will be processed, it will not be signed for approval till your medical is submitted. Allow the immigration officer to ask you for the medical documents. Once you submit, then be careful not to travel outside US and wait for your green card. It won't be long once you get a request for medical that your green card will get approved and the green card will be in your hand. Now, after completing all the documents, the lawyer submitted my documents on 20th September 2022. These documents were received with the Immigration Authority on 21st September 2022, and on 28 September 2022, I received a letter from the immigration authorities confirming that they have received my application, which is dated 21st September 2022. So this 21st September 2022, which is the date on which the immigration authorities received my documentation, is my application date. This is the date which is recorded with them as me applying for the green card application I-140 and I-485. Then on 10th of October, I received another document from immigration authorities asking for my biometrics, which is again good news, meaning that my application is kind of complete, and now they are looking for my identification and want to make sure that I am an individual who claims to be the individual on the form and have no criminal records or have no other blacklisting on me or any other red flags. So they wanted my biometrics, not just mine but also my family. So we went to a biometric center which was assigned to me given my location of my address or my home where I live, and they assigned me a biometric center where we went, we gave our biometrics, and then we came back. Then on 1st of November, me and my wife received a document from Immigration Authority confirming that our employment authorization document has been approved, which means that we are permissible to work in US apart from our L1 and L2 status. However, EAD only goes in effect after 6 months of applying or registering yourself for green card application. So my registration date, if you remember, I said was 21st September 2021. So 6 months from that date, I can make use of my employment authorization document, which is an EAD card, to apply for other jobs, but similar to the job that I am doing today. So there is a job occupation category in which I applied for L1, which is finance manager or finance executive. I need, or I may be able to apply, or I can apply in the same job or occupation category using my EAD in future, but only after 6 months of staying in my current role and in my current job. Now, this was primarily important for me if I had to change roles. Let's say if the company wants to promote me, it would be impossible for the company to promote me in a different role or move me in different departments or in a different role or task altogether or change of titles on my L1 visa. So that is only possible once I have my EAD. So now I have my EAD. So in 6 months from September 21st, 2022, I can change roles, I can change assignments, I can get promoted, or so much so I can even leave my current company and move to another company. However, it is a bit risky because you don't have your green card in hand, you're moving to a different company, and what if your green card gets rejected and suddenly you have work authorization which is kind of valid for a year or two, but your green card gets rejected and now you're kind of in a flux where the company which hired you was expecting you to eventually have your green card. Anyways, I will talk all about employment authorization and its limitations in a separate video. But on 1st of November, we got our EAD, which was again a good sign telling us that our application is moving in the right direction. Now on 23rd of November 2022, a strange thing happened. We received 3 letters from immigration authorities, one for myself, 2 for my kids. The reason it's strange is it only came for me and my kids and not for my wife, which was a bit strange. And the letter said that our application is being moved from Texas Processing Center to National Benefits Summit. And this is something that the immigration authorities are doing in order to speed up our process. They may have a lot of load in the Texas Center where we initially submitted our application, and they are moving to a place where the processing can be faster. Now, the strange thing was that they were only moving me and my kids' application, which meant that maybe it will keep or make it delayed for my wife to get her green card, and that was kind of a question mark. I checked with my lawyer as well, and he said there is no way where they can really talk to someone and move her application to this center as well. All they can hope is that her file gets picked up, or someone in the new processing center realizes that only 3 of the files came from the entire family and they may ask for the 4th file eventually. So eventually it may get moved to the faster processing center or to the processing center where my application or my kids' application had moved. But there wasn't much we could do except for waiting. Now on 27th of March, I decided to apply for advance parole. Now advance parole is a documentation which is kind of a solution with regards to the problem that I shared earlier, where me and my family are traveling outside, my green card gets approved, the green card gets delayed, my L1 status is not valid anymore. If my L1 status is not valid anymore, their L2 status is not valid anymore. and hence they cannot travel back into US. However, the only way they can travel back is if they have advance parole. So I decided to apply for advance parole. Now, the reason I did not try or did not apply for advance parole earlier with my green card application, which is when I was applying for I-140 and I-485, is because I knew I had some travel plans coming in. And with advance parole, as soon as you apply for advance parole, you cannot travel outside of US. If you travel outside of US, your advance parole gets cancelled. It's deemed cancelled until or unless the advance parole application is approved. So till the time you apply for advance parole, until the time it gets approved, you cannot travel outside. I had some travel plans outside of US, and hence I decided not to apply for advance parole, because if I would have applied for advance parole, traveling outside without getting an approval would mean that advance parole application would get cancelled. It would just have been waste of money. So on 27th of March, I decided to apply for advance parole, given I knew, sadly so, which I didn't knew much or knew enough, which is that I may not be traveling any further. But as soon as I submitted my advance parole application, I had to make an urgent travel for family reasons. And in 3 weeks' time, I traveled outside of US and my advance parole application was deemed cancelled, sadly. Which essentially means that the money that was placed in order to apply for the advance parole was kind of wasted. Now, this was something my company was not so happy with, given this was kind of waste of money. They paid money for my advance parole application, and then I traveled out and the application just got cancelled. But sadly, I did not have any other option, and I kind of explained to them as well that this was a crisis situation where I had to travel. So I didn't have any better way to manage the situation. However, the good news is on 3rd of May 2023, I got a request from the immigration authorities to submit my medical and my kids' medical, which meant that our application, me and my kids' application, which moved to a faster processing center, was processing well, and now they wanted our medical. As soon as I got the request for medical, I was kind of in a comfort zone. That's fine if the advance parole application got cancelled, because it seems my green card is nearing or is very near, because they've asked for my medical application, which means all my documentations are complete and fine and kind of have been approved. It's just that they're waiting for my medical to come in, and as soon as they see my medical, they would be giving me my green card, and then I'm open not just to work anywhere or have my green card or be a permanent resident, but I can also easily and freely travel inside and outside of US. However, here the challenge was my wife still did not have this request come in for her, which is there was no documentation asking for her medical, which kind of gave us an indication that maybe her application is still stuck in the Texas processing center, and no one has made or connected the dots to put the two applications or all 4 our applications together. So here the lawyer advised us not to just submit the medical for myself and my kids, but also to submit it for my wife, even though they are not asking for her medical. But if we submit all those 3 documents together to the new processing center, they may realize that this particular family or this particular file or application also has a 4th member for which the request has been missing for medical. So this is what we did. We applied for all of our 4 medical, and then we submitted it all together on 11th of July. Now, along with the medical submission that we did on 11th of July 2023, I submitted another documentation on the 11th of July 2023 explaining to the immigration authorities a slight change in my job responsibility and in my title, because there were certain changes that were being made in the organization, and my job title and my job scope slightly changed. And because of that, I had to submit some extra documentation, which I submitted along with my medical records, explaining that there is certain change in my job scope, which I previously told the immigration authorities. And now I'm telling them that these are the changes that are taking place. These were kind of minor changes. They were not a lot. I wasn't changing the entire role. It was just a scope of my role which was changing. So the lawyer was not worried, and I didn't really need to move on my EAD or make use of my EAD. I could still have gotten that approval from or alignment from the immigration authorities to continue to stay on L1 with the change of the job scope that I was requesting them to approve or be aligned to. So on 18th of July, I received a confirmation that my medical records have been received and my job portability documentations have been received as well, which is again good news that things are moving forward. Now on 27th of July came the good news confirming that my wife's application has also moved from Texas Processing Center to National Benefits Summit, which meant that now the entire family's application is being processed in one go. And then we were kind of hopeful that she should also be receiving her green card pretty soon. Now, I was still in the camp where I thought maybe her green card still gets delayed versus ours. And one of the challenges that I was facing is that during this time we cannot travel because I have not applied for advanced parole any further, because this time around my company said that if you want to apply for advanced parole, you have to pay from your own pocket. I was trying to be not in a position where I have to pay it from my own pocket, and given I started to get some good signs with regards to immigration authorities asking for my medical, I was like, maybe I'll get my green card and I may not have to apply for advanced parole altogether and spend that much money. However, the challenge was my wife's application was still delayed. But with this news, we were kind of happy that her application is now also moving and we should be expecting our green cards pretty soon. On 24th of August 2023, I received a document confirming that my job portability request has been approved, and also my green card application has been completed and approved, and I should be waiting to receive my green card anytime. Also on the same date, which is 24th of August 2023, I received confirmation for my kids' green card application as well. That is, their green card application has been approved, and any day I should be receiving green card in the mail. Again, great news for me and my kids, but for my wife, the application was still pending, and we were like, again, it is okay, fine, it may take more time, but what about our travel plans, which we wanted to start to sort out, and we wanted to sort out those travel plans. And given me and my kids had the green card approved, we were hoping that she gets her green card approved soon as well, so we can start making those travel plans that we wanted to make. And the next day, on 25th of August, my wife also received a letter from immigration authorities confirming that her green card has been approved as well, and she should be receiving her green card any day in the mail. So essentially what happened was, as soon as her application moved from the Texas Processing Center to National Benefit Summit Processing Center, her application was sped up to the point where we all got our green cards almost together. It's just that she got her approval a day later, which is fine, doesn't hurt. And then came 29th of August when me and my kids received our physical green card in the mail, and come 30th of August, my wife also received her green card. So essentially, or net, her green card was just delayed by 1 day versus me and my kids. So essentially, starting from the day our application was registered, which is 21st of September 2022, we got our green card on 30th of August 2023. So slightly over 11 months. So 11 months and call it 9 days, we got our L1 converted to green card, or we got our green card application approved in 11 months and 9 days. Thank you for watching this video. Hopefully after watching this video, you would have better expectations or know better what to expect when you're applying for a green card, moving from L1 to green card. In case you liked the video, please don't shy away from pressing the like button and also the subscribe button. On this channel, I share content pertaining to personal finance and career success for early and mid-career professionals. If you found value from this video, I'm also sure that you will find value from another video on my channel where I talk about my personal finance journey. You can check it out here. Other than that, I have another video where I talk about what is the fastest way of getting job anywhere using LinkedIn networking. You can check out that video here. Thank you.